All right, what's up, guys? Let's do another weekly outlook. Sorry, weekly breakdown plus a weekly outlook. Um, Sorry if there's any outside noise. I'm outside right now chilling, and I'm not going in. So, anyway, we just opened up 33 minutes ago. Bearish. Everything is bearish after the news over the weekend. Right on Friday, we had a peace treaty signed between U.S. and Iran. And then Israel keeps bombing over the weekend, which causes the Strait of Hormuz to be closed again. Maybe I don't think it's completely. I heard rumors that there were still ships getting through. I don't know if it's a complete close, but there are still issues just because these fools cannot stop bombing each other. So there's not much to see on the 4 hour really. Last week was kind of choppy. We had the opening gap with the week before here, and then a huge bullish push with the next 4 hour candle, or the first 4 hour candle, I should say. And then for the rest of that week, have our push that goes and gives us our high for the week. Didn't quite make it to our all time high, came pretty close, about, let me see, 120 something points away, right? Um, then has a bunch of kind of consolidation here. We're trying to wick higher, can't quite do it. Big meltdown, back to go fill this imbalance. Um, a lot of people were trying to buy already off of this. I really was just waiting because once we got back up to this imbalance here that was inversed, we go to retest it, and you can see that it has not it didn't get broken past multiple times. It tried 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times to break past this imbalance to continue this bullish move up, but couldn't do it here. So it gets shut down. What is it? Where is it likely to go now after getting shut down here? To just go and fill this gap real quick, right? What happens? We go and have one nice candle, push down right towards it. We get a wick that sweeps this whole area, fills it, and then start to turn around from there. Once I scale into the 15 here, you'll see exactly how this swept and where it swept to. So from there, we go and fill this imbalance, like I said, fully mitigate it, fully mitigate the price gap, push up from there. Like I said, once I scale in, you'll see how we caught these buys up, back above this IFVG. We clearly get the closure above past here. And then Friday just kind of ends us with, hold on, my thing is wrong. It's not in the right spot. Gotta adjust that. I don't know why it's off. I knew something was off. Right. Okay. So Thursday, we go and push up to this bearish imbalance that was created with the first initial move back down to fill this bullish one. Right. Can't quite yet break it. Get some rejection right off the top of it. We do mitigate through the whole thing with wicks, but can't break it with candle bodies. Where do we come back down to? Most likely to return to this area that we just broke, which is this same IFVG area. Friday tries to get another push, can't quite make it to these highs, gets shut down a little bit at the end of the day, some selling action, profit taking, and then we open up today bearish, like I said. Let me scale in now. Let's go to 2 hour. Let it load real quick. All right, so same thing here. Look left. Here's a gap in price. Put a dotted line there because it did get hit. So before it got hit, I just had it solid. It's just dotted to let me know that it already got hit, obviously. Nice push up beginning of the week, right? We caught some of this. I wasn't able to catch the very beginning, but we definitely were catching this on Monday and Tuesday-ish. Yep, into Tuesday. It started to turn around Tuesday. Here we got our highs being taken. Kind of was our draw on liquidity here to fuel this move down. Had bullish imbalances get broken with this, smashing through. Little pullback. Can plot a fib here probably from this high to this low. Get the pullback to the fib. Continuation down. Clearly going to smash this target with all this bearish momentum. right? Like I said, once we rejected off this, came down here, rejected off all of this again, clear rejections here, big candle to just break us through here real quick and manipulate, and then we caught these buys back up here after this sharp manipulation downwards. Let me go into the 45 now. Same thing. Same thing. I really just want to look at this move here, because this was all just basically continuation the beginning of the week. But once this happened, it's kind of where people think, are we gonna start selling now? Do we start selling this all the way down? No. I had a clear floor that I wanted this to see come get hit, and then if that floor got completely disrespected, then I would think about selling. But no, this floor gets respected very well. This is clearly just a impulsive, manipulative move. There's a lot of whipsaw happening right here. We go and take out this low, push up from it, almost go and take the high, but then go immediately straight back down. So there's a lot of like BS and chop price action here. A lot of manipulation going on. So I just waited for all this to finish. Waited for this um, point of interest to get taken, basically, before I started to look for my original bias, which was buys again. You can't see my entry here too well, but you can still see we have a FVG here, a bearish one that I could mark up. And if you were to be looking at the 45-minute at this time, you would see this inverse and would potentially be able to buy off of this area quite easily. With just the momentum from this manipulation, nice impulsive push up. We don't play too much at this imbalance. We go and blast through it pretty easily. Our next candles are bullish. Simple little pullback, little correction. We have actually a PO3 here. This is accumulation, manipulation down below the VWAPs, below the EMAs, tricking people into think that we're going to sell more until we just turn around right away. Little pullback once we get back above VWAP to retest it. And then our next candle is gone and keeps pushing us up with this bullish momentum, right? Until we pull back here, and we caught these buys here at the end of the week. We had a nice pullback here from this push up from Thursday's New York. Break above our POCs and stuff like that. Do we get above this imbalance? We don't. So here, let me draw this one back out. We mitigated this, but did not break candle bodies past this. You can see it barely tried to break past, but could not do it. So this is a still valid fair value gap. I'm going to change the template to fair value gap. So we rejected off of this imbalance clearly. We wanted this to break in order to take us up to the next target, 30,900, and take out this New York high. We couldn't do it though, just because our price action here clearly started to turn around on us. If you know your candles and you know your candle patterns, this candle right here is a neutral, oftentimes signaling reversal of the trend type candle. And so then once we were up here retesting this area with big top wicks multiple times, a big top wick at the top of this imbalance, pushing it down at the end, not able to break it, turning it into a bearish candle, following a couple more bearish candles, then that's where you would know to, one, get out of this buy, and two, potentially look for a sell if you want to do that. But me, I don't just hop in to sells right after the buy is over. I like to wait to see where this sell is actually going to end up finishing, because you can see here in an uptrend, all of our sells that happen usually always get smashed 2 times, 3 times, 4 times higher than our sell move just did. So our buy moves are always bigger than our sell moves, most likely. So that's why I'm always waiting for the buy. And then if the change of character ends up to switching, and our buy moves always get smashed by sells, then I'm going to start selling. But that's not the case right now. So for this sell, I think I actually did catch some of it just because it was so clear once we got below VWAP. It wasn't like I was changing my bias though. You know what I mean? I knew this was short term. I knew this was counter trend, all that. You have to keep all that in mind when you're counter trend trading, or when you're trying to maybe trade against your original bias. Here we have IFVG. I'm just drawing this out real quick because I see it here, and we are now returning to it in the future where we're at right now, rejecting off of it. Anyway, you can see we go and pull back right down to New York lows, sweep them perfectly, and then start to impulsively push up from there. Pull back, continuation. Play around for the rest of Friday, rest of the week, sell off a little bit, like I said in the beginning of this video, and then we open up bearish. Now we wick down to this IFVG again, rejected off of it. Now we just kind of want to see what we're going to end up doing. Are we going to bounce off of this area? We just bounced off of these two POCs here I have as well for our volume. So that's another strong confluence. We also swept London lows here and New York lows here with this push down. So yeah, this is all looking really good. If we can hold above this 30,475 area, I'd say continue looking for buys. If we break below, we're probably going to come down to 30,400 and then most definitely 30,320 to take this London low. And then if we don't turn around from here and keep having bearish momentum, we want to go and target this 30,100 Asia low, right? So I'm just trying to see if we can hold this bearish or bullish momentum beginning of this week, starting off. If not, then we're going to look to take out these targets down here. Let me just scale in a little bit more before I switch over to gold. I'll cover MES real quick, even though I did not trade it much last week, and it is basically the same thing. Here is my little bullish PO3 I have here. I had accumulation marked up, clear accumulation. We had clear manipulation that I was talking. This is the same thing I was just talking about from the 2 hour. This is the same trade here. We broke below VWAP, below EMAs, tricking people into selling out of this, right? To continuing this sell downwards, just for it to go and have an IFVG right here. Let me draw it out if you can't see it. We have a bearish imbalance that was created with this move down. Okay, with this impulsive move down, there is usually going to be a bearish imbalance that's created because an imbalance gets created with an impulsive move, right? Same thing for, vice versa. If it's a bearish PO3 or whatever. Let me save this. The interval, you'll see that once we manipulate and we go in IFVG, we pull right back to the IFVG, stay above EMA's VWAP, and then this would be your optimal trade entry here, 30,340. Anywhere right here before this starts to blast off again, this is where you want to enter, okay? So then you would take this, your first target would be accumulation highs, which is already a good, let's say 420 to 3. So that's already, what is that? 80 points, right? That's already a great trade. But then we want to see these accumulation highs get broken to tell us that we are going to actually continue distributing in this direction, right? So we break these highs. Here is our first hour of this, London session. Pull back a little bit, go and smash those highs for the first hour of London session. Pull back a little bit right to the middle of that kill zone, respecting EMAs. There is a little imbalance here. We don't quite go and tap it again, but we stay right above it. So that's still valid, you know what I'm saying? To me, valid enough. But really, truly, ideally, you do want to see this get tapped again, right? That's why we do go and return back into it, fully mitigate it, get a better draw on liquidity before we then go to take off. This is all during London too. And then look at once right before New York opens, we go and have that draw on liquidity, go and retest the VWAP, and then even make a lower low here, and then go and take off. Go and take out our highs from London here, pull back right to these lows of New York, sweep them, and then we're gone basically. It's not the cleanest push up because you can see we have a lot of wicks trying to push us down each time. Sellers are trying to fight here for at least these first 3 15-minute candles. Then we can finally get above this IFVG I have here from the past. Let me see where it started, right here. Boom, you can see it was getting used as resistance multiple times before till we break past, and then now it was trying, like I said, sellers were trying to push us below it till we finally broke past, pulled back to it, use it as support now, then we can buy off of it. Then we're gonna go and target higher bearish imbalances, which would be this one. This one was unmitigated, right? From this whole move down until we started to push up. So this is going to be our target here. We get this one mitigated. And then, like I said, this is the same thing as what the 45 I was just showing you. We aren't quite able to break through it. You can see the trend starts to kind of exhaust here once we reach this area. A big wick pass, push us down. Good sell, good bearish evidence here, but just as how this candle was created. Push up again to go and retest this imbalance, and then melts again during Asia. Little pullback to this imbalance. Asia low, first hour Asia low gets taken. Another pullback to below EMA's VWAP POC, just for us to continue to melt right down to New York low, like I said. Just for us to then, you can take the 15-minute entry if you don't want to enter on a lower time frame, but here's your 15-minute confirmation. The IFVG here, bearish imbalance was created with this big move down. The most recent one, we want to see it get inversed to confirm that buyers are now taking over. And then you could enter on your next candle here if you don't catch it anywhere down here. Then boom, you're trading this whole London session kill zone here and catch 30,500 to 150 points easy in just a couple hours. First, kill zone gets swept here just barely with this candle, and then we start to turn around. We have this bearish imbalance here, the most recent one that got created with this turnaround right to the middle of the kill zone. So we are respecting this kill zone, still bullish looking. We just need to inverse this bearish imbalance again. We have tap, finally go and get sweeps of these lows, which is our draw on liquidity needed for this move to actually take off. First hour of New York here. Here's a high gets swept, just barely, gets respected, and then we can push up a little bit more. End of Friday was not much going on. We open up for the beginning of this week, gap down. So remember, the week before we gapped up and went crazy. This week we gapped down. Now let's see if we can break above this gap and then keep going with this bullish momentum, or if we respect or reject off of this gap and then start to keep selling some more from here. Let me scale in just a little bit more, see what we're actually doing here with the open. So here is this little imbalance that was being respected. IFVG on a 3-minute, very end of Friday, opening, smashes through. Nice bottom wick, doesn't go in quite yet, sweep New York low, so we push up, reject off of the gap and off of VWAP to show us that we are bearish, right? Anything under VWAP is bearish, anything above is bullish. Stayed under, rejected, sold, took out our lows, right? You could have caught this, honestly. This was a very great sell. More risky, right? Because we're trying to catch it right off the open, but this was still pretty clear here. So now looks like we're trying to sweep these lows and potentially recover, right? So price would definitely need to break above this 30,585 imbalance for me to actually really want to start buying, and definitely really want to see it even just get above this gap first before I start buying anything. If not, I think we're sell biased just due to kind of the news and all that stuff that we had over the weekend. And we got a couple other things going on too this week, not just like Israel and Iran and stuff, but so we could see a correction week here. Let me go back to a higher time frame. We aren't moving like we were a couple weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? We're having a little bit harder time trying to push up and continue this bullish momentum, but it's really we're in a deciding factor right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we kind of just got to see what we do around this area. Are we gonna get away from it this way, or are we gonna get away from it this way? It's kind of undecisive right now, so I can't really say yet. Like I said, I want to see if we have a trend line here as well. If we reject off the trend line, reject off the view up again, reject off the gap, all that type of stuff. But if we break it back above, that's going to be, clear signs of bullish momentum. So let's see what we actually end up doing. Let me go to MES real quick. Same thing. I honestly have not touched it for the past couple weeks just because I've been all over MNQ. Wow, my drawings are off too. You can see all last week was basically the same thing. No, I'm really not even going to break it down because we had the push up in the beginning of the week, had our spot where we rejected off of, and then really MNQ or MES was a lot more choppy after we go and filled this gap in price. See how it didn't really have as good of a push up after that? A lot of consolidation here actually. We had a nice push up, but then right after it would just really get shut down and very, very ugly. Even this push down here went way further than the NQ New York sweep. Went to retest this bullish imbalance. Had a nice little push up, but couldn't really do much from there. Just got shut down at this bearish imbalance again. And like I said, in gap below, go and take out these session lows just like MNQ did. And now we're trying to potentially recover. Let's look at gold. I like gold. Actually, it's the first time I said that in a fucking months, but I just seen this over the weekend while I was looking at it. I missed this. I didn't take this, but this is just the cleanest example of a bearish PO3 for gold. Gold loves to spit out clean PO3s. It was doing it a lot at the beginning, or last year and the end of last year, beginning of this year. It's kind of stops now, like around when the war started, but this one's really clean here. Kind of just going to break down how I seen this and how I would have caught it. Anyway, beginning of the week, gold gapped up just like everything else, had a nice push, reject off of these highs here where we had an IFVG. This was a spot where we were rejecting for and holding support at in the past. Let me see. Here is where it came from. Rejected as support, rejected as support, rejected as support, smashed through, pullback, rejected as resistance. Melted, pullback, tried it again, rejected as resistance. Starts to accumulate clearly on the 4 hour. We are clearly moving left to right here. After this bullish candle, we get shut down. Bink, 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 barcoding. Okay, this is legit, looks like a barcode, right? A very short one at least. And then what do we do out of this? We go and push up impulsively to then just stop here randomly and come right back down, even more impulsive, right? So this was clearly just a trick to, one, trick breakout traders into buying. Two, stop out these people who have stops here for their sells. It hit multiple different people out with this manipulation move up. If you were already in this kind of mess right here, trying to catch it early. You look when did this happen? 10 a.m. Okay, I'm not making it up. The times and the all that, like the timing thing. It's legit. These moves always happen around 10 a.m. These types of PO3 manipulation, it's either the manipulation happening around 10 a.m. or the distribution is happening around 10 a.m. Sometimes it'll still be accumulating around 10 a.m., but in the best cases, you'll see that this goes and bink, manipulates right out at 10 a.m. And then by, what is this, 12? So 9 a.m. here, we finally go and start to distribute back down. You can see on every other time frame. Let me go to the 2 first from the 4. Every time frame, it's a clear PO3, clear accumulation with the clear manipulation out to then distribute downwards. Same thing. This is why I stress marking it up, so you can always see this, and then it's so much easier to spot in the future. Even this right here is a PO3. We have accumulation, quick wick up. This wick is manipulation because it goes and takes out all of these highs, and then this move, this buy here up, is not an actual move. It's all just a trick to take the liquidity and then completely dump down afterwards. The same exact thing happened here, but this just actually had a couple candle bodies and not just a wick. So that's why I'm saying sometimes it's not always going to be perfect. It's not always going to be exactly what you expect. It'll throw a little bit different of a pattern out sometimes, and you kind of just got to know how to adjust and have the discernment to catch it correctly. And this is why we don't ever risk too much on a single trade. Our risk management is nice and calculated and conservative, so to where we never get fucked by any of these, by like getting caught up in any of this. And then once you're good and know to really just wait, you could wait all of this out because you see this accumulation, you see this manipulation, and you know not to trade during any of this. You need your entry confirmation first. So here is your entry confirmation after the manipulation. What gets created most recently with this big impulsive push up? A bullish imbalance, right? Bullish fair value gap. So we're going to mark it up. If you had to be really on point to catch this. Also, look what we're doing with this manipulation up. We're taking session highs, okay? Second confluence. Just an added confluence to tell you that this is likely going to sweep, okay? If this candle goes and turns very bullish impulsively, which is exactly what it did. So I'm going to keep this here. And then, yep, 1 second. And then once we inverse this, we go and smash all of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 session lows here with all of this accumulation consolidation. We smash this, pull back, and then we can even plot if you don't catch this move here, you can plot a Fibonacci like I did from this high to this low, pull back, and then it respects this Fibonacci, and then we go and melt, right? From there, we go in, where are we targeting? Our negative 0.27 target, our negative 0.618 target almost gets smashed. We're kind of playing around here. And like I said, it's the same thing with M&Q. We're just trying to see if we're going to recover from this area or continue with this selling momentum due to what we have technical-wise and fundamental-wise. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for tapping in here. I got to eat some food. It's Father's Day, and I'm with the fam, so I'm going to cut this one a little short. If you guys got any questions, hit me up or just leave them in the comments. You know what I mean? Same shit, different day. Let's kill it this week. Rack per minute. Let's go.